All right, so let's talk about how you configure the Etherchannel. So again, you go to the channel group on each of the interfaces, and then you configure the protocol and choose the mode that it's going to be in. I would suggest on is a good mode so that you don't have to worry about will it or will it not come up. Now, the configuration that you do on the port channel will be copied to all the member interfaces. So here's how we go. You go to the first port that's going to be, and let's use two ports in our example, ports 23 and 24. So you go to ports 23 configuration mode and you type in channel group 1. Why 1? Right, you just pick a number. It's got to be the same number though if they're in the same channel group. And then you say mode active. Then you go to port 24's configuration mode and again type channel group 1, mode active. So now you've got two physical interfaces associated with the same channel group, and now you can configure the port channel. So now you'll type in interface port channel 1. That's the one that represented the channel group. There you can turn on things like switch port mode trunk, which is my native VLAN, what are my allowed VLANs, and you've set up the logical configuration on the Ether channel, the port channel, that would affect all the physical ones. Now, of course, you have to do the same thing on the other side. So that's an example on one side of the switch, the links between switches, you'll have to do that on the other as well. All right, we are going to work with switches 3 and 4 in our design, and we're going to create an Ether channel between the two of them. We're going to start off by just doing the show CDP neighbor, and let's take a look at how we're connected to switch number 4. So I see that I have, let me highlight them, that I have 3 interfaces that are connected from on my side of at least on switch number 3. I have 19, 20, and 21 that are connected to switch 4, and it's also looking like they're using the same ports 19, 20, and 21. So we're going to set all of those up as an Ether channel between them. Now, just out of the fun of it, let's show spanning tree right now and see how those interfaces are working as far as spanning tree is concerned. And it looks like 19 is forwarding, it's a root port, and 20 and 21 are blocked. So my thought is that as we put these together, they become one port. We'll look to see how that changes as far as the actual setup on that. So, all right, let me hit Q to get out of there. And we'll begin by doing some of the interface work to set that up. We're going to go to the F019 port first. And one of the things you have to remember is that your settings have to be the same. So at the moment, everything's in the default setting. And in fact, just so you can see it, do show run. Let's begin with the interface. So you can see these switch ports 19, 20, and 21. There's 19. It's in switch port mode dynamic desirable. 20 and 21 are the same. Because it doesn't say anything about speed or duplex, we assume the default settings, which is auto on both sides. And that would be the same on switch number 4. It is an important aspect that those actually match to be able to make this set up. All right, so the command here is channel group. There we go. Hit the space bar or the question mark. I have only one option, and that is the channel group number. I might as well make it easy and use channel group number 1. Now I'll question mark again. Now this is the mode of Ether channel. We talked about the different modes, whether we want it to be actively trying to make the connection, or just have it turned on, or auto, or desirable. And of course, the choice between the active, as I highlight it, is that's the LACP protocol. As if I put in the desirable, that's the PAGP protocol. And what we're going to do is we're going to choose active. We're going to go with the LACP as far as the type of encapsulation. So I'm going to say mode active. Okay, and now it's set up, and the interface, of course, appropriately went down. Because, again, I haven't actually configured the port channel interface. All right, so let me exit out of here. We do have to do the next 2 interfaces. I could have used the interface range command. And now I didn't think about talking to you about that one, but I could have done that. I'll just stick with what I'm doing right now, though, and setting them all up manually. So group 1, mode active, and then that one went down, good. And then interface F0 F021 is our last one. And again, channel group 1, mode active. And I expect that one to die on me. And while we're here, we might as well configure the actual port channel. So the next one is interface port channel. So we're going to do the port channel. And let me go back into the question mark won't work when I'm in interface configuration mode to show you those options. So I thought I'd make sure that I can put it here for you. So port channel, there we go. The port group, in this case, I hit the question mark, same one's asking for the number. I want to match that number, is number 1, and that puts me in the interface configuration mode. Again, you didn't see that for the actual interface configuration mode. That shows up kind of as a hidden command. From here, the next thing I want to do is put this thing into a trunk mode. So switch port, and we know that we're going to say trunk encapsulation .1Q, because we know if we put it in direct in the direct trunk mode that it would yell at us, because it's otherwise going to try to auto negotiate that. So now I can say switch port mode trunk, and now I have this thing set up. Now the actual Ether channel is not going to be running. I don't expect it to, because the switch number 4 doesn't know about how to set that up. So if I start using some of my show commands, my do show interface F019 with the Ether channel setting, and we take a look at the Ether channel setting that says the port state's up. Channel group 1, it's in active mode. The port channel, of course, is not working for us just yet. Local information telling me how it's working, the LACP port priority, a number of other types of settings as far as the defaults that we expect. The big flags, of course, S and A are defined up here. So the device is sending slow LACP to use, it says, and it's in active mode. So those are my options right here. And we're going to see how that changes in a little bit as we start putting the other side together. The other thing that we'll do here is a do show let's see, take a look at the options here. Let's do the Ether channel summary. And as far as the summary goes, we see that these 3 ports are working in the port channel group number 1, and the protocol is LACP. And from there, each of the eyes say that they're, as far as the flags, they're showing us as standalone. And we haven't really done much else with the use of this port channel. Again, I don't expect it to be up. In fact, if I run the do show IP interface brief, let's take a look at the status of these. So port channel 1, there it is, and it's showing down and down. All right, that's kind of what I expected, because we haven't got to that point yet of setting it up. So again, F019 is the one that we wanted to use here. The channel group was 1, mode active, and the next one was the next interface, F020, and channel group 1, mode active. If you're wondering, I just hit the up arrow to set that up. F021 is the next port, and again up arrow twice to get back to my channel group 1 mode active. And I've got all of those put in there, and now we're going to go to the interface port channel 1, which takes me to that new interface configuration. And again, we're going to say switch port trunk encapsulation 802. It's called .1Q, and switch port mode trunk. And you just see my screen just kept flashing in front of me, and as things are going up and down, up and down. But the final one is pretty good. I like seeing this as all the port status is changed up. You might have noticed in the background that the other one, that all of those interfaces are coming back up. If I do the same show IP interface brief on switch number 3, and we get to the very end of this one, the port channel is now showing up and up, which is what we wanted to see. So we're going to assume that it's set up the same way here. If I do a do show interface F019 with the Ether channel settings, Okay, now we're seeing a lot more than we saw before. Before we only saw the one side, the local port. We can now see the partner port that we're connected to as well, and that it's also up and in active mode. And again, if we do the do show, let's see if the other one would be the Etherchannel summary. I expect to see that this one is up and running. Number of channel groups in use, aggregators 1. And we have the same 3 ports that are connected. So that looks out pretty well for us. Now, the last part, of course, is to not quite the last part. Let's do another show spanning tree. Actually, we did it on switch 3 the first time. So let's go back and take a look at switch 3. Do show span. Let's see what the status of those ports are. All right, so you notice that 19, 20, and 21 do not show up there anymore, but we do have the port channel that's showing us now as being in forwarding mode, and we know that that one port channel is representing all. There they are again, all of the channels that were aggregated together. So 19, 20, 21 don't show up here anymore as an interface because they are virtually represented by the port channel number 1. Okay, last part of this is let's do show. Let's take another option here. Let's take a look at the Etherchannel load balancing. And right now, the load balancing addresses are used per protocol, it says. For non-IP, it's using just the source MAC address. For IP, it's using the source MAC address. Let me exit out of this. And let's see if we can actually change that. Let's go to port channel. Here's your question mark. Only have load balance, question mark. And now we can choose to do some balancing, not just as you saw on source MAC, but I could choose to do this on destination MAC address. Hit the question mark. Boom, there we go. We've got that set up. And let's do that same show command. And now we can see that the load balancing is based on destination MAC. So again, it's your choice to change, at least here at layer 2 as a port channel, on how to change that setup. And all was looking good. Again, this is switch 4, so we can do show IP interface brief. We expect to see that that port channel is also going to be showing as up and up. And there it is, port channel up and up. All right, so that is the creation of a port channel. We used 3 interfaces on the 2 switches, verified that it was up and running. We saw that the configurations were the same, put them in the right channel group, even changed the load balancing options.